Well, I'm very pleased to say that the first of four Mezco G.I. Joe figures has arrived. Um, what's interesting is that Big Bad Toy Store, they have shortcuts for certain licenses. So we have like best of the 80s, best of the 90s. And I don't know if this is any kind of order, but next up is G.I. Joe. So G.I. Joe is pretty big. I actually wasn't even going to get these figures. I was like, do I really need GI Joe? Because I collected the Marvel comics when they first came out. I think it was '84. Watched the cartoons, the original, the first series or two seasons, something like that. The Sunbow cartoons. I watched the direct to video movie and the live action movie. I'm quite familiar with GI Joe. But I kind of was like, and then they announced Snake Eyes, and I'm like, all right, I got to get Snake Eyes. And then I said, well, geez, if I'm going to get Snake Eyes, just go all in. So I have three of the four pre-ordered. I haven't done Storm Shadow, but I think I'm going to do that soon because I'm really excited by this figure. This is one of the coolest figures Mezco has produced. And I had a bit of an epiphany the moment I saw him because I was always like, what's with the giant collar? What's with the low cut top? And I was like, oh my God, it's supposed to look like a cobra. I get it now, which is kind of interesting because Destro always seemed like he was a little bit separate from Cobra, kind of his own operator, but that's got to be what the look is going for. So this figure has a lot going for him, a lot going on. The This is an actual chain, and it came in a little bag, and I put it around his neck. This chain actually has, or this pendant actually is mentioned in the live action movie. So I was a little confused about Destro because he seemed to be a little bit of the odd man out. I understood, Snake Eyes, Storm Shadow, the two big ones. Roadblock was the star of the second movie, even though the figure is not based on Dwayne Johnson. But I was like, Destro. I mean, he's probably, arguably, the second or third biggest villain. Um, I don't know if you'd place him or Baroness number two. Obviously, the number one is Cobra Commander, and that is a figure I really want to get. But I rewatched the first movie, and I forgot that Destro's actually the main villain in that movie. Although he never looks like this. He's basically a Scottish guy in a business suit, and it's only near the very end of the movie when he's badly burned that the nanobots change his face into the silverish appearance. But he never has any kind of costume like this. He's not buff like the comic book and TV program Destro. I'm sure that Mezco does have those movies on their mind when they're choosing who to produce figures of. We'll see what's coming up in the future because I definitely would like to see more GI Joe figures. So the Snake Eyes and Roadblock are Q3 tentatively of this year, and then Storm Shadow is tentatively December. So to start with, I love this box. This box really harkens back to the 80s and the original Destro from the Hasbro figures, and it even says Destro the Enemy. I totally forgot that the figures would have their cards, and I remember it was Destro the Enemy. And so there's another look at Destro. I love this box. It's going to look amazing in my closet. Here is actually the original figure. I've been selling all my original GI Joe figures because I'm not going to. They're opened. They've been played with. I'm not going to put them on a shelf, and so they were sitting in a box. It's just time to let them go. This one just hasn't sold yet. Anyway, let me get back to this figure. So the articulation is very good. I feel like this one leg is a little loose, but it's not. It's not. It doesn't wobble or anything. So he's got the gun holster, and the gun will come out. This is not attached, so it can come down, which is, I think, pretty cool. Gives a certain level of authenticity to it that it's just held up by his thigh. Um, he's got this. This will open up. Okay, let's see if I can focus on that. So it looks like a little view, some kind of a, I don't know, little tiny computer or whatnot. This will come off, and it can be replaced. Let me see. It can be replaced by this piece here, which is shooting the rockets. So this has got little rockets on it, 3 little rockets, and then in this one he can be shooting those rockets off. Okay. Stay up. What are you doing? His belt is free floating, and his costume is very nicely tailored. Very lovely. So that's gorgeous. What did I do? He doesn't want to stand now. Okay, there you go, Destro. He's got several other faces. This one looks kind of like. See, I don't know the. I'm not an expert on Destro. This looks kind of like maybe the classic look, kind of like that. And this one, so this is very angular, whereas this one looks more like a face, a regular face. So at first it almost looked like they were the same, but then I noticed that this is more angular. We have a smiling face, an evil smile. That's pretty cool. I think I'm going to go with this dour face, but this is kind of neat. We have all sorts of alternate hands. We have 5 pairs of alternate hands. We have the gun clips. There's a clip there, clip there. We have an alternate. This is slightly different, I believe. So this would, yeah, this is different. This would peg in. You could pull that other one off and replace it with this one. Okay. Then we have this large gun, which he can hold, depending on the hands you use. Then we'll get into his most interesting. So we have his briefcase, and it opens up. Okay, and I put batteries in, and you can do light up features on it. Okay, so we got, looks like some bombs or something. There's the Cobra logo. And this will come out. I could take this and replace it with this piece here. And this is, let's see here, the modular submachine gun. And so all of these pieces can come out and create a modular machine gun. So that's really neat. That is a lot of detailing. This was a $100 figure, and I think for what you get, I think that's a great price because you get a lot of stuff with this. So this really does harken me back to, and it really, I mean, obviously the difference in quality is ridiculous between the original 1980 whatever Hasbro figure and this figure. This is super dramatic, super high quality. Probably one of the nicest Mezco figures I've ever seen. These G.I. Joes have had a lot of delays, but I'm okay with the delays from Mezco because they do come out eventually. I've never had a figure that didn't come out, and as long as they're producing high quality, they can take as long as they need. And hopefully, you know, I would love to see. They're not going to crank them out like you see with Hasbro or Kenner or other even you know, Hiya Toys and stuff like that. They're going to come out at their own pace, And so I don't expect to see 30, 40 GI Joes from Mezco. Maybe we'll see Flint. Maybe we'll see Hawk. We've got to see Cobra Commander. That would be the one that I'd want the most. Maybe Scarlet or the Baroness. So I'm pretty excited about this line, and we'll see where it goes. So, like I said, we've got Snake Eyes and Roadblock that are supposedly coming out in Q3, and then Storm Shadow, and then we'll see what else they do. But I definitely, I know that a lot of people, the last figure I reviewed for Mezco, I believe, was Batman 1989. I know a lot of people were not thrilled with that figure, but I think this figure will, anyone who's the least bit of G.I. Joe fan or just a fan of Mezco, I don't think too many people are going to be disappointed in what they've done with Destro, because that is definitely, I would say, probably the nicest Destro figure that's ever been created. So that's Destro from Mezco.